Hello and welcome. You're watching Coronavirus Facts versus Myths. I'm Rishika Barua. India has reported 21,257 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. This is 5% lower than the caseload that was reported yesterday. India has also reported 271 deaths in this period, which is 47 lower than what was reported yesterday. 93.17 crore people have been administered a vaccine dose under the nationwide vaccination drive. But here's the big story. The active cases account for less than 1% of the total cases. This is currently at 0.71%, which is essentially the lowest since March 2020. India's active caseload currently stands at 2,40,221, which is also the lowest that the country has seen in 205 days. The recovery rate in India is at 97.96%, which is the highest since March 2020. There have been over 24,900 recoveries in the last 24 hours as well. The weekly positivity rate is at 1.64%. It's been less than 3% now, also for 105 days. The daily positivity rate in India is at 1.5%. It's been less than 3% for the last 39 days. So India's COVID numbers, in a certain sense, continue to remain low. But with the onset of the festive season, there are many questions on whether this could trigger in fact a third wave. A warning to this effect was issued by the government just yesterday. And what has the government essentially said? Well, the government has said that ahead of the festive season, or rather amid the festive season, the government is preparing for a surge of 4.5 to 5 lakh cases per day. This is the government's third wave forecast. Now, the government hasn't laid out any kind of a timeline on when they anticipate a third wave to hit India, but they've said that there's no straightforward way to calculate what extent the peak of the third wave could in fact reach. The government has warned that the current stable situation cannot be taken for granted, and therefore the months of October, November and December, according to the government, need to be watched very closely. Listen in to what was said.
Preparedness will be of a safe level, cushion level, lot of headroom. और जब हम उस फिगर को लेके चलते हैं, जैसे आपने मीडिया में भी सुना, हम 4.5 to 5 lakh per day सर्ज की तैयारी को लेके चलते हैं. It does not mean that we are saying that will happen or should happen or can happen or may happen. No. The preparedness is pitched to be ready to face a daily surge of 4.5 to 5 lakh cases per day.
All right. So, in a certain sense, what we are seeing right now is that COVID numbers in the country have stabilized, but the government has issued a very stern warning amid the festive season that the festive season could trigger the onset of a third wave. The next 3 months, therefore, are extremely crucial for the COVID-19 situation in the country. And if you look at the number of people India has vaccinated, less than 20% of our population is fully vaccinated at the moment. So that's also something that needs to be taken into consideration. All right, let me now open this up to our panel. Lancelot Pinto, Dr. Lancelot Pinto, consultant pulmonologist and epidemiologist of the Hinduja Hospital, is with us. We also have Dr. Rahul Pandit. He's a member of the Maharashtra COVID Task Force and Director of Critical Care at Fortis Hospitals, Mumbai. Thank you both very much for joining us. Dr. Pinto, to you first, a close look at the numbers that, suggest that the COVID situation has stabilized. Many saying that, COVID could become endemic in India soon. But the government yesterday has issued a pretty clear warning that they are preparing for 3.5 to 5 lakh coronavirus cases on a daily basis, and that the next 3 months, is something that the government is going to be watching very, very closely.
Hi, Rishika, and thank you for inviting me to your show. If you look at the position we were in sometime last year around this time, again, there was a lot of complacency around. We thought that the worst was over. We thought that we were going to be, Corona was behind us to a certain extent. And then we expected a surge during Diwali, we expected a surge during New Year, and none of that happened, and that got us more and more complacent. But then came Delta, which was this variant which was highly transmissible, which we hadn't anticipated. Our antibody levels, the seroprevalence studies suggested that a lot of us didn't have antibodies. Vaccination wasn't in place then. And then we faced this huge surge. Now, hopefully things are a lot better this year, given the fact that a lot of us have antibodies either from past infection, some of us have antibodies from vaccination. But I think there's no real argument to be made against being prepared. Being prepared is always good. Given the fact that, like you rightly pointed out, it's just about 20% or so of the population has both the doses of vaccine in. I think it's good to be optimistic about how things are, given the fact that we are doing well right now. But I think preparing for another surge is never going to be a bad idea.
Right. Dr. Rahul Pandit, there has been a lot of talk about the onset of the third wave, and now, people almost treat this idea of a third wave as crying wolf. Because a lot has been said about the onset of the third wave, when it's going to come, how we need to prepare for it. And given the fact that, India's COVID numbers remain stable at the moment, there is a fair bit of complacency that has set in. And with only less than 20% of our population fully vaccinated, do you agree when the government says that the next 3 months are going to be extremely crucial?
Hi, good afternoon, Rishika. I think there is no doubt about it that we need to be prepared for the worst. There is absolutely no doubt about that. What we need to be aware of is that all of these predictions which come across for the third wave come from either the modelers. The modelers base up a lot of scientific facts with mathematical equations and then come up with some timelines that this is the time where the surge could happen. Obviously, there is no crystal ball answer to this. This is modelers can get it wrong, modelers can get it right as well at times. However, what we need to be aware is that, which you rightly pointed out, that a lot of complacency has set in. And complacency during the festive times is a recipe for the cases to increase. So we need to be very, very clear that we have to be prepared. We have to keep on sensitizing people, general population, that COVID has not gone away. COVID is very much there. The COVID appropriate behavior, complacency cannot be becoming the norm. We still have to basically mask up, get our social distancing norms going on for at least 6 to 12 months to go. It's not 1 or 2 days we are talking about. And I think we need to realize as general people that all of these warnings which the Health Ministry or the Government of India is giving are in our best interest. They are not trying to cry wolf. They are actually trying to give us a very reasonable understanding that if things don't go in the right direction, these are the numbers which could go bad, go in the wrong side. So we have to be very, very clear that they are actually giving us a very good warning that please make sure that you have your right appropriate behavior going on and don't become complacent.
Right. Dr. Pinto, very quick word from you. We are still seeing an average of, 20 to 25,000 cases being reported on a daily basis. The number of deaths, 271, like in the last 24 hours. So it's not like COVID-19 is over. Yet we are seeing that the proliferation, is in terms of the prediction of a third wave, etc., has somewhat, been either thwarted or delayed. One doesn't know at the moment. How are we to look at our current numbers? The fact that the current COVID numbers are in a certain sense stable or remain, hover around a same kind of an average. How are we to look at the current numbers, and do these numbers point to the fact that COVID in India is endemic now or is going to be endemic soon?
I think there are a lot of reasons to believe that the third wave will not be as large as the second wave or the first wave, given the fact that a large proportion of the population has antibodies from past infection, that the vaccination rates are going up. And despite the fact that 20% have received 2 doses, a significantly higher proportion has received at least 1 dose, which also offers a degree of protection. So if you ask me what I thought, what I hoped for, and based on the science, it does look like we will not have a large third wave. But that being said, when transmission is ongoing, you can have the selection of sudden variants, which are unexpected, and some of these variants could be immune escape variants. Now, this is not a doomsday prediction. This is not to scare individuals, but there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to predicting the future, and I think we need to be prepared.
Right. Speaking of variants, Dr. Pandit, it was the Delta variant that wreaked havoc when it came to the second wave of COVID in India as well. What more is known at the moment of the proliferation of variants? We know that variants also emerge as the virus is allowed to spread and mutate. Given the fact that, India's COVID numbers are somewhat in the stable range by the government's own admission, a stability that the government has warned we can't take for granted. Are we still to worry about new emerging variants in the Indian context, something that could have immune escape mechanisms, something that could evade even vaccine immunity?
Yeah, so these are the questions which all of us have. Till the point that the country's vaccination program reaches to 80 or 90% with both doses covered, you still have a chance that the virus proliferation could still happen, and you could have a selection of a variant. There are some good points about the variant right now, that we already have the Delta variant, which is very, very infectious with a very short incubation period. So anything which is going to be shorter than Delta variant is very unlikely to happen. This is what some of the experts which I have been talking about with epidemiologists have an opinion on. However, immune escape is something which could definitely happen, and that's where we are worried about. Our vaccine immunity escape could definitely be a variant property which may actually give us very, very hard time. So I believe that we need to just ramp up our vaccination program more and more as quickly as we can get across, so that the chances of us selecting a new variant are extremely low.
Right.
I think with each day going by, the chances are becoming lower and lower, but you can never be sure.
Okay. Considering the fact that we are in the midst of the festive season, the government has issued a whole host of guidelines as well on how, through the course of this festive season, public places should be avoided, pujas, events, all of this should still happen virtually. Yet we know that permissions have actually been granted for a lot of these events to take place, in a physical space. We know that there's going to be a lot of intermingling. Markets, are crowded typically at this time of the year. I'll ask both the doctors on what the advice is for people who are fully vaccinated, people who've got just one dose or are yet to be vaccinated, and that especially holds true for the vulnerable category. We don't have a vaccine for children, for instance. Dr. Pinto, what's the advice that you'd like to give our viewers amid the festive season?
I think if you aren't vaccinated, you aren't in a very different state than what you were last year. So all the precautions need to be absolutely in place. Even if you are vaccinated, the 3 C's which have constantly emerged throughout the epidemic: avoiding closed spaces, avoiding crowding, and avoiding really close contact. I think close contact is going to be inevitable when it comes to festivals, but I think at least, being in a closed, crowded place should be avoided as much as possible. And if we can move outdoors as much as possible, even in terms of our celebrations, if we can limit the number of people involved in every group of people celebrating, I think simple common sense measures can go a really long way.
Right. But, Dr. Rahul Pandit, would different rules apply to people who have been given, say, both doses of the vaccine? Can they say celebrate festivals this year in a slightly more normal way?
I think we need to keep up rules which are simple to follow and equitable to everyone right now. Whether you are having 2 vaccines or 1 vaccine or no vaccine, the chance of a breakthrough infection is there. Even after 1 vaccine, people have got infected. Obviously, when you're not vaccinated, you are a vulnerable person. So right now, my simple message would be avoid going out if you can. Stay in the house, have your festivities with your family member. If at all you have to go out, kindly double mask yourself. 1 cloth mask, 1 surgical mask at least, or an N95 mask for frontline workers and healthcare workers. I think if we can do this minimum thing and avoid getting into crowded places,
okay,
you probably are going to be okay.
All right. Well, the government has said very clearly, and I'll quote from what the government has said here: irresponsible behavior can lead to another wave with the same intensity. So this is a pretty unequivocal warning that's been issued as far as the health ministry is concerned. I think one that really needs to be highlighted and put out there. But final comments from both of you. Dr. Pinto, the fair degree of, say, COVID-19 fatigue in a certain way, and we've talked about this. COVID appropriate behavior does, reduce when you are double vaccinated, when you know that the COVID-19 cases are down. What do you make of the government's warning at this time? And most importantly, come the festive season, Dr. Pandit also said that the same rules need to apply. But what we are seeing on the ground is very different. We are seeing crowded marketplaces. We are very rarely seeing individuals who are double masked, and yet, thankfully, the numbers are controlled.
I couldn't agree with Dr. Pandit more in terms of, when 20% of the population have 2 doses, you cannot really have differential rules for different individuals. You have to look at the greater common good, and I think that's where the government is coming from. The idea is to protect everybody and not to differentially have rules which would discriminate against individuals. I think it's great that our numbers are low, and I hope it stays that way, but to assume that it's going to be that way and therefore lower your guard is something that we don't want to do. At the same time, we have to be pragmatic about industry. We have to be pragmatic about the economics of things. We are not in a lockdown like we were last year, which is good in a way that people can, continue to pursue their economic pursuits. So I think we should be happy about the fact that we are trying to find a balance somewhere in between. But at the same time, we have to constantly revisit these decisions with every passing minor surge or every passing group of individuals who get infected, for example.
Because Dr. Pandit, look at what's happened in the US, for instance, with over 50% of their population double vaccinated. They're still seeing a massive surge because of Delta. The number of deaths have remained high, largely among the unvaccinated. So COVID, by no stretch of imagination, is over. But in India, we seem to be in a lucky place at the moment, because COVID appropriate behavior, is not being followed to the degree that it should. We have crowded market spaces. Our public transport systems are open. Our schools are open, even though our children are not vaccinated. Yet our numbers continue to remain stable.
Look, I think it's a dynamic situation which we need to keep on assessing. Just like in Ahmednagar district, the collector took a decision to ring fence or put a lockdown into the society for a few weeks or I think 10 days lockdown it is. We will have to keep up looking at such solutions if at all we see a sudden surge in a cluster of villages or cluster of city or something. I think those decisions government will have to take. Maybe the local administration is already empowered to take up such decisions, and people need to remember that. I can see the crowded places which you're showing right now on the television. That's certainly no COVID appropriate behavior happening there, but I can see a lot of people with masks on, so at least that's a good part of it.
Continue to wear our masks, we continue to maintain COVID appropriate behavior, and of course go out and get vaccinated if you haven't already, and that is the rule, even though the COVID situation in the country, at least at the moment, thankfully appears to be stable. I think the government's put out that red letter warning right there about the fact that this stable situation may not survive the festive season. One sincerely hopes, though, that it does. Thank you both doctors very much for joining us.